We are still continuing to talk about how to respond to atheists' views with regards to revelation, with regards to the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and with regards to the proper and truthful religion that has to be followed. So we talked in the previous khutbah about the existence of Allah briefly, because this is a matter that most human beings agree upon and would not argue with. And then the second step was, where there's some argument from some human beings, is whether or not this creator has communicated with his creation through revelations. And we talked about this in detail in the previous two khutbah. But there were two more points that are very important as well with regards to the communication between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his creation. Number one, and I mentioned that briefly in the past, is the vision that a person sees while he's sleeping. If it is from Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can deliver information to the human being about future events, or he could warn him about certain things that may happen in the future, or give him glad tidings in his sleep. And many people, or almost everybody, has seen certain visions or known or heard of them. And this is basically information that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala communicates to the people. This shows that Allah's knowledge is encompassing to the past, present and future, and that everything that happens is only by the qadr and the decree, predestination from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because you actually see what is going to happen before it happens, sometimes by years. And some people have seen visions. Somebody was mentioning a vision that he saw children playing in a garden, and he kept on seeing this vision maybe for 10 years. And then he only knew the explanation of this vision that he was seeing in his sleep after he got married and had children. And one time he was looking at the children playing in the garden, and those images came back to him. Certain things like this, and many people. I mentioned also the Professor Jeffrey Lang, who is a mathematics professor in the States, Jeffrey Lang. And he's now a Muslim, and he calls to Islam, and he has books about Islam published. He also was seeing a vision. Not only he saw it, but other people of his family and friends saw it, that basically he was in a room and he would describe the carpet, the ceiling, the windows, what people were dressed like, and that he was standing in line with certain people, and there was somebody making certain movements, and they were all following him. But he would describe the room and everything about that event in all detail, because he kept on seeing it for maybe 10 years as well. And people around him as well saw it for him. Eventually, after he came to know about Islam, and he goes to pray in the place, the Musalla, in that university for the first time, that vision comes back to him, because the exact same details of what he had been seeing for years and years, now it came to happen. SubhanAllah, we have to remember this. And we know that hadith have linked between al-wahi, revelation from Allah, and the visions a believer sees in his sleep. It is mentioned in the hadith of Aisha that the Prophet ﷺ, before he received the prophethood, the first sign that he was going to receive the prophethood and the message from Allah and the revelation was that his visions always came true. كَانَ لَا يَرَى رُؤْيَا إِلَّا جَاءَتْ مِثْلَ فَلَقِ الصُّبْحِ. Any kind of vision that he would see, next morning it would come to happen. So it was quite something peculiar that the people around him have noticed. And also, there's some other hadith on this matter. But for the sake of time, we'll have to go on. The second point is the language that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught humanity. There is a critical period where human beings have to be exposed to language. And that is usually below 7 years old. If you're not exposed, if a child is not exposed because he could not hear, or lived in a place where he did not live with people, and this has happened. Some kids were lost sometimes in jungles. If they live there beyond a certain age, they will never be able to speak or understand language. So a human being has to be exposed to language during this critical period. This tells us that the language that we speak with right now is not the product of human beings getting together and coming to consensus or agreement or convention upon certain words and how to give symbols for different objects. No, this is direct teaching from Allah. And I'm mentioning only the logical evidences, but we know from the Quran that this is the fact. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. Allah has taught Adam the names of everything. But I have to speak with logic, because this is to develop the tools to be able to argue with atheists and to respond to those kind of points of confusion that they bring up. We tell them that human beings could not have gotten together to make up a language, because it would have had to happen before the age of maybe 6, like 4-year-old, 5-year-old children getting together to write up a language. It will never happen. It has to be adults. But if they waited till they're adults to try to do this, they will never speak, because the critical period has passed. Only by the teaching from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the first human being, then the first human being teaches the second generation while they are children, and so on. This is the only way we are speaking. Otherwise we would not be speaking. وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. And Allah has linked between language and bayan, the ability to express yourself, and the Quran. In Surah Al-Rahman, Ar-Rahman علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان, the ability to speak. Also you can see in Surah Iqra, the first surah revealed in the Quran, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم. Allah is the one who taught human beings how to write. Even that was taught by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only to speak, but how to write as well. And you can see this as well in Surah Noon, وَالْقَلَمِ وَمَا يَسْطُرُونَ. And even in Surah Al-Dhariyat, إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌّ مِثْلَ مَا أَنَّكُمْ تَنْطِقُونَ. إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌّ يعني قد يشير. Sorry, I went to Arabic again. This may indicate that إِنَّهُ لَحَقٌّ, that this Quran is haqq, it is the truth, just like you are speaking. Just like you are speaking. So, just like Allah has taught us how to speak, Allah is the one who taught human beings His revelations and sent down the messages. The next point is that we can claim that all religions on earth, if you survey those religions and study them, let's take the major ones: Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, and Hinduism, for instance, you will find that all these religions have certain things in common. The fact that those religions have many things in common, which I will mention, indicates that the source is one. Yes, over time people have distorted their religions over time, but you will find many things in common, despite the fact that people of those religions do not get together. Sometimes they are enemies or competing with each other, but still they have the same principles. All the religions talk about the great creator. Even when they associate partners with him, they also talk about the great creator that's above all those partners. So, and even you see this in the most polytheist religions, such as Hinduism, you will find one God that is above all the gods. And then you will find that those religions talk about holy people that have come from this creator to teach people about this creator and how to link with him and how to communicate with him and how to please him. You will find in all these religions that there are acts of worship and places of worship. So how did they come to agree on all this? Except for the fact that the origin is one. You will find that there's also a moral system within all these religions. What this is right to do, this is wrong to do, truthfulness is good, betrayal is bad, and so on. You'll find all these things. So, and you will find also that all these religions talk about the creation of the universe and how human beings came here, and there are stories about holy men and so on. But this is common between all the religions. It also talks about the destiny, where human beings are going after death, and that the righteous people will be rewarded and the evil people will be punished. These are common factors between all religions, indicating that the source is one, and indicating that these are facts of life that nobody can deny. Nobody can deny these things. How did all humanity agree upon these things, despite the fact that they never got together to agree upon them, except that those are facts of life that Allah has revealed to everyone. Now, how to know the right religion out of all these would be the next topic that inshallah we will leave till in the next khutbah bi-iznillah.